Hello, I am Eric Boberg and welcome to my channel where I talk about consciousness. And today I will be talking about the concept of being held. People often talk about that people can hold space for each other and that they can create safety and a way for them to express themselves. And I will be talking about the concept. Does that actually exist? Or is that just an idea? So, what people usually means to me is that when they have said that I have held them and they feel really safe and they're thanking me for holding space for them, I experience that as I just didn't do anything to trigger any fear in them, allowing them to express themselves a certain way, talk about their emotions a certain way. I just didn't behave in a way where they could perceive me as not being present with them, meaning I didn't think about something else. I was just paying attention to them and what was going on with them. And through that, they were then able to bypass their own thoughts of fear and insecurity and resistance, because they felt like I could carry that burden for them. And so they could perhaps talk about a childhood experience that was difficult for them, where something happened, where they created like a negative self-belief. But I would suggest that it's impossible not to be held. That concept does not exist. What do exist is our idea of how something should be or transpire. For example, if somebody talks about a childhood experience that was difficult for them, perhaps they were not included in the group or they felt outside somehow. And if I then behaved in a way where they felt not held, where it seemed like I wasn't quite listening to them, they could just as well have dealt with that experience of feeling outside or invalidated somehow in the present moment. What was going on between that person and me? And perhaps they would get angry, and that would have been to then display that, to show that feeling and to be honest with what was going on with them, would have been the healing that they didn't do as a child when they didn't express what was going on with them truthfully. And what I mean by truthful in this moment is that perhaps as a child you got angry and upset, but you can just as well hide in emotions just as well as in thought. True vulnerability comes when you speak from the heart, and then you express like the sadness of actually really wanted to have been in the group, and perhaps the sadness of wishing that you would connect with these people in your class or something like that. But the truth was that you didn't for some reason. You didn't actually know what reason. You just assumed it was because you were bad somehow, most likely, and put it on yourself. Or that the other kids were stupid and bad somehow, that they didn't allow you to be part of the group. But you actually didn't understand why that was. But the truth would have been to just express the sadness that you were outside. You weren't part of the group. And that's where the truth lies, not in crying and being angry, although that's a step on the path of, or can be a step on the path. If you have a hard time expressing anger, for example, anger might be the first step to then coming deeper into the truth of your heart. And so however you react to the situation is really the truth that you're living out right now. So whatever the person reacts, how do you perceive them to be holding you or not, is not of importance. It is the freedom you have to communicate your truth and be vulnerable with that. That is the liberation you're looking for. And if the other person are holding you or not, or perceived holding, that's not actually an issue. The issue is, are you being truthful and honest and vulnerable with what's going on within you? And you might have had an idea that you would be vulnerable expressing these negative past emotions, this memory you have of something that has transpired. But you can just as well use the present moment to express what's going on. This thought about your past is not what's important. It is your relationship to honesty, to vulnerability. That is important. Not falling in the trap of believing that the power is in somebody else to hold you, and that they are holding the key for you to be honest with yourself and show your heart. And that is the mistake. And they don't actually even have to understand your vulnerability or listen to you. That is also just a thought. The proof, if you wanted to call it, is for you to be honest with yourself, to be vulnerable with yourself, and be satisfied with that, and keep the curiosity towards your own vulnerability and truth. That's where you will find the liberation and the relaxation and the moving past that phenomena. When your consciousness switches to a place where you are interested in being honest for the sake of you being honest, not that somebody else should hear this truth, that's when you're actually on the path where you're actually growing, and you're bringing it all home to yourself. Thank you.